Hi, I'm Kathy Kiely, president of the Ad Club, and you're here with us again on the Big Orange Couch. As we leave 2009, we're leaving it kind of on a low note. Well, I should actually say on a high note, because the new numbers for unemployment came in today, and they are hovering around 10%. But the good news is, as we come into 2010, there's a ton of energy, a lot of new things happening, and we all are feeling very inspired. One of the people inspiring us is Erik Proulx. Erik, thank you for joining us today on the couch.
Thanks. Good to be here. And this is Big and Orange.
It is, indeed. So you were a copywriter at Arnold.
Yes, I was.
And now you were always highly regarded as a copywriter, but now you're becoming a mini celebrity with this film that you've launched, Lemonade.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Lemonade and what was the inspiration behind this project?
Well, Lemonade is a documentary about 16 advertising professionals who lost their job and did something amazing in unemployment. They found some sort of calling that they pursued and wanted to explore further, some kind of passion that they wanted to develop into a career. And that sort of all came about from a blog that I started called Please Feed the Animals, that really catered to the advertising industry, those who had lost their jobs in the advertising industry, trying to give them a resource, a place to vent, a place to communicate with each other, and sort of figure out what's next. My initial expectation was that I was going to hear a lot of moaning, a lot of whining about the industry, and there was a bit of that. But the trend that I started to notice was people saying, now that I have all this free time, I'm going to pursue my art or my writing, or I had this idea for a business that I want to consider. And it just seemed to make sense to put them on film, and make a little movie about them, because you don't hear that often. I mean, you hear all the bad news. You don't hear enough about what people are doing right and inspirational.
So basically, this film is what you've decided to do next.
Right away, it was the blog, and it just sort of morphed organically into a film. So Lemonade is my lemonade. Lemonade is me living out that phrase.
So how did you do the casting for this film? How did you find the right people for the film?
It really is a testament to all things social media. I started with announcing it on my blog, linking to that blog on Twitter and Facebook, and people by the dozens replied, wanting to tell their stories. Went to L.A., which, another testament to Twitter, the travel was funded and sponsored by Virgin America. We went to New York City, and we stayed here in Boston, so we had 3 cities. It was all just, a result of, and he told 2 friends, and he told 2 friends, and before you knew it, it was out there.
When you watch the film quality is truly spectacular. Tell us a little bit about who shot that for you.
So I put it on my blog, I announced it on Twitter, hey, I'm going to make a movie. And Picture Park here in Boston, the production company here in Boston, replied with a tweet saying, hey, we'd like to help you make this movie. As soon as Picture Park got involved, it went from me in a van to me in their production van, and director Mark Colucci, and with a director of photography named Peter Nelson, and he was the DP for the majority of our production, along with Will Van Hazel, who is and also another amazing director of photography. So it was equipment and incredible talent that made it look so beautiful.
When you watch the film, it gets extremely up close and personal. Was it difficult to get people to agree to sort of bare themselves and get that personal with you?
The director, Mark Colucci, his comment over and over again was how hard it wasn't to get them to open up. The typical documentarian interview style, you butter them up with a couple of softballs, you get them comfortable in front of camera, you ask them things like their name and how they're feeling and what are you up to lately, and then you launch into the difficult questions. None of our subjects needed it. I mean, they just wanted to talk about, they were so excited about what they were doing currently that they had no problem talking about being vulnerable about getting laid off.
Do you think it's easier for creative people when they lose their jobs to just start clean and fresh and follow their passion, or do you think that can happen for people across the board?
I don't think it's easier for creative people. I think the bigger sort of thing that you need, the personality trait that you need, is a lack of an aversion to risk. The ability to embrace it as you move as you move forward with whatever's next. There's just this innate fear. People are really afraid to do something on their own and go out and try to be independent, because we're just trained to be employees, especially in this country. But having the belief in yourself and a really high tolerance for that unknown is probably the single biggest attribute you need to be an entrepreneur and go and explore something different.
Well,
Thanks for that. Well, thank you for having me here. This is great. Big Orange Couch. I love it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you all for joining us on the Big Orange Couch.